That dunk, man. I know some of y'all were holding your breath on the landing, right? It was a very eerie, it was eerily similar to the landing in the finals on the Danny Green play, right? But that dunk is the reason why he's going to get back to damn near the same player he was, right? It's his mindset. And you know, he was hunting that dunk on the first possession. When he came off the pin down and curled, he was going up to punch that, but Allen and those lanky boys got over and he had to bring it down and just finish with a layup, right? But yeah, man, I didn't know how I was gonna feel. I was kind of scared, to be honest with you. I was scared. Like I was excited, and then when the moment hit, you get the chills, you get a little emotional through the introductions. Did you notice how Steph, when they were doing the introductions, he ran out with Looney? They called Steph's name, right? Out of Davidson, but he dipped out through the lineup with Looney. So even while they're calling Steph's name, the focus in the camera was on Klay. It was straight out of a movie, right? But then as the tip came and the jump ball came and the game started, all of a sudden I found myself kind of just nervous that he was going to be all right. I don't know. I can't explain it, man. I can't explain it. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about Klay here. I thought his body looked all right. Clearly he hadn't hit the weight room. But I think for him at his age, his stage, who he is as a basketball player, it's more about mobility and then the chain of muscles firing properly. Your posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings, your lower back, your core, everything down to your calf, your foot, your Achilles, all the little muscles. It's all a chain. It's all got to get firing correctly. And that's the biggest challenge when you've missed that much time. So, yeah, you know, some people ask me about, like, what do you think of his frame and his body? Yeah, a guy that's built like Klay, to be honest with you, he might have put on too much weight if he had focused on actually lifting weights. It's about mobility and muscle firing. The jumper, I'm gonna talk about that in today's breakdown. If you like my content, the Hezi, the YouTube stuff, you're gonna love my breakdowns on Patreon. You can gain access for as little as $1 a month. I'm telling you, it's well worth it. I'll give you a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of talk on the Klay. He's elevating less, right? He's elevating less, and that may be expected. Now, it actually, in all reality, it might make him more lethal because, you know, you can control it more. Now, where it will hurt, there's always a give and take with something, right? And what you may be giving is he won't be able to hit as many difficult shots, right? The elevation allowed him to make some nasty contested shots and on the move as well. So when you lose some elevation on the jumper, you may not be as dynamic of a shooter, but all in all, squared up open shots, you could be even more precise and consistent. So there's a give and take with that. Again, we'll cover everything about the Warriors in this breakdown, so go check that out later this afternoon on my Patreon. I do want to talk about Steph here for a second because last night was, to me, further proof that his shooting woes of late is mental. Because he starts out the game 4 of 4, right? And then he missed a bunch to end the game. But for the first 20 minutes of that game or so, think about it. For the first time since Kevin Durant has left the Warriors, the microscope and the focus was not on Steph Curry. And so I think he could just exhale and play basketball, right? For the first time, it wasn't all about him. It was about Klay. And all of a sudden, you saw that joy and that freedom come back to his game, and he started off 4 of 4. It was a great start for us, and then it tapered off. But I think that was a perfect example of the mindset. And also just a reminder of the microscope and the pressure that's on Steph. It's not just the defenses. Everybody loves to snap those pictures of his gravity where there's like four or five guys surrounded by him. So it's not just the physical attention he gets on the court. It's the media attention. It's the scrutiny. It's the obligations from fans and little kids that want to see him and wave to him that is all sapping the battery of the chef. And Klay, hopefully moving forward, is going to alleviate that because let's be honest here now, even on this road trip, right? The focus and the story is going to be Klay. Now, Steph's he's a superstar, right? He's a legend. So there's going to be focus on Steph, but Klay is going to help draw some of that attention away, not just on the court as a shooter, but just the publicity of his comeback. And I think that should lessen the load and let Steph get back to playing basketball. Let's talk a little bit about these Cavs, though. Evan Mobley doesn't have the juice. He's got everything else. He's got everything else, right? All the tools. He just doesn't have the juice, right? I think that that's pretty clear. And what I mean by you say with the juice, the alpha mentality, right? That and I think some of that is nature, and I think some of that is nurture. Remind you, he's a little bro. He has played with his big brother his entire career up until this season. He's also a coach's son. So some of that nurture has been for him to fall in line. He hasn't had the opportunity to develop being a natural leader. Listen, that could be a good thing. I'm not saying he can't be a 10-time All-Star. He can, right? What I'm saying is I don't think he's going to be an MVP. I don't think he's going to be like a dominant guy. But how many guys are, right? So I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying I don't see that demeanor, right? Because I think that's a mentality. For instance, you look at someone like Jonathan Kuminga, who shows that if he puts in the work, stays healthy, like he's got a chance to be dominant because you can see it in his mentality early, right? He's a take no prisoners type of cat. And so, look, would I trade Kuminga for Mobley right now? Absolutely. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong, because I think Mobley, his floor is an all-star. He's going to be an all-star, right? I just don't see that mentality to be a dominant superstar. Rondo was out there jacking up threes, damn near pulled him back in that game. Lauri Markkanen's soft. Here's what I see for this Cavs team. It's a good story. They're a fun watch. I like them. I like what they're doing here. This is going to be the year in the playoffs where they get bullied. It's going to be a welcome to the playoffs first round matchup for them. I don't know who obviously I don't know who they're going to get yet, but they're going to get physically bullied. It's going to be that learning experience of, this is what the playoffs are like. Like we got out physical because you got soft ass Markkanen in there. Evan Mobley's still a teenager, right? They just don't have any playoff experience. And right now, this regular season, they've kind of been afforded the luxury of sneaking up on teams, right? And now teams are like, all right, Cleveland, we got to take them serious. But these first 30 games, they haven't got team's best shot. And last night, you saw a playoff-like atmosphere where it was emotional, and they got bullied. Shout out to Loon Dog. Loon was out there bullying them young boys in the paint, 18 rebounds. The Anta boys back to business. Anyway, go check out that breakdown later on Patreon. Let's keep it pushing here.